Okay, so starting out, when you think about kid friends, you think about their brain networks being really shallow. When we look at adults, we have lots of complex trauma sometimes. But if you get a 5-year-old child, their brain networks are shorter. They're going to process so much quicker than an adult does. They have fewer defenses. So as they're coming into our office, they're usually going to kind of lean into getting rid of this trauma, which is what we want. So when we look at EMDR, we're always using kid-friendly protocol. If you're a play therapist, if you're a Sand-Trade therapist, if you're a creative arts therapist, whatever you are, you can make the shift to EMDR pretty quickly and easily. So what I use is I use a lot of Sand-Trade, music, art, movement in every phase of EMDR. So those are just kind of standard things that I show up with every day. I usually show up with my running shoes on because I know at the end of the day I'm going to have sand in my hair. I'm going to have markers probably all over me. If we're using paint, that's more of a non-contained art supply. I may have some paint on me. So I walk the halls and Wanda always looks beautiful in her heels. And I have my running shoes on. Wanda, we're going to the next slide. Okay, so when we look at kids, it's the same 8 phases. We've got the history taking where we're gathering information. We have the stabilization, preparation, where we're just calming everything and getting ready for the next part of the EMDR journey. In the assessment phase, we're using child-friendly tools, hands-on tools, and we'll talk more about each phase through this. In phases 4 through 6, usually kids process quickly. What that can look like is we're thinking of the target, 5 or 6 sets, in whatever way we set up. They're moving on. How hard is it now? Is it this big, this big, this big? More sets? This big, this big. Most kids, usually after 5 or 6 sets of 5 or 6, they're like, it's done, I'm good. I don't feel bad anymore. So that's the cool thing about kids. So phase 7, we look at closure. And since I work with family systems, I'm involving parents, if it's appropriate, in every phase. There's some times where it's absolutely not. If I get a child that has 15 clinical charts, they've been in 15 foster homes. Usually I'm going to do a lot of individual work with them before I invite like a foster parent or something. So phase 8 is reevaluation. So one, I think we're ready to get zooming here with all my cool stuff. So history taking, I usually involve everyone that's touching that child's life. Because I work with a lot of kids in the foster care system, adoptive care system. And so I want to know the guardian ad litem, children's division worker, even the judge. Because I'm going to try to advocate for that child in every way that I can. Because if I have a child that steps its little toe in my office and it's had 15 placements, I want to make sure that maybe the 16th one we're going to be able to keep. And so I'm working with everyone to try to do that. Kind of targets and present triggers. Some of the ways that I do education for kids about triggers, and it's kind of a unique thing that they absolutely love. This is actually a baby toy. And so in the education process, we talk about something crossing their path. And we also do this when we're working on the window of tolerance that makes them move up to the very top of that window of tolerance. And so it's like, this is exactly what happens in your brain and in your system. And so sometimes when you get targeted, the bumblebee comes out, and maybe you sting other people, maybe you scream, maybe you yell. And so we've got to work on ways to get you back in that window of tolerance as we do our EMDR work. Other thing that I use, this is kind of a standard child toy, but in the education process, I'm using this to talk about their kid brain networks. You know, I'm doing brain education, and this is a part of your brain. And so sometimes what happens for kids is they have 2 hard things that have happened. Or maybe they have 5 hard things that have happened. And so it's just a way to try to normalize for them part of that trauma, and we're here to work on that. We're excited to work on it. So the answer, you have that in your manual. But what I'm also assessing when a child steps its little toe in my office, or big toe, whatever it is, how are they interacting with me? What's their attachment style? You know, I have one child that will always get under my desk, and it's like, okay, it's okay. So I ended up cleaning underneath my desk out and making them a little kind of cozy place so they can just get under there when they come in and just kind of feel comfortable. So the first time I meet a family system and the child comes in and has done 25 cartwheels in a short period of time, and the parent is screaming, stop, 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 that lets me know kind of what the child's answer is. They need to move their body. But for the parent, they're probably feeling kind of ineffective with this child and knowing what to do with them. And so I'm always working from all angles, kind of for the benefit of a kid friend and for the parents too. We want everyone to be successful. Okay, so negative cognitions and positive cognitions. We do those in very kid-friendly terms. We can do those in the sand tray. I'm going to show you how I use this. These are called the EMDR helpers, and they're nesting dolls. And so it's just a way to get kids engaged in that process of EMDR. So we use photographs, art, tons of concrete tools. If we're doing safe, calm place, we're going to make a safe, calm place. Whether that's in the sand tray, and the parent takes a picture, blows it up, posts it up on their ceiling in their bedroom, multiple places in the house. We're going to do that in a real hands-on, kid-friendly way. Usually for treatment plans, I'm working with everyone involved. It could be the children's division worker has this treatment goal. Maybe the guardian ad litem has another treatment goal. And so for me, I'm always trying to make that treatment plan pretty kid-friendly and kind of comprehensive. For kids, the way I do their treatment plans is I have little tiny bags, and we have rocks. And so they take a Sharpie, and they put what they want to get rid of in their life. And so then we weigh the rocks, and we're like, man, think how you're going to feel if this bag just gets lighter. It's going to be magical. And then, when they've completed a target, I have a bean bin. It's called a celebration bean bin. I have giant beans. And so they write their celebrations. But in writing their celebrations, there are hundreds of beans in there that have celebrations of people that have completed treatment. And so it's just this magical kind of history thing. Okay, so preparation. Explanation of EMDR. This is one of the books that I have 4 copies of. And it's Anna Gomez, Dark Bad Day Go Away. Send it home with the parents. The parents reads this because it's a real kid-friendly way of describing EMDR, what you can expect through the EMDR process. And then the parents understand it in a different way. So that's one of the things that I use. Safe, calm place. Usually I have people that drop off things for me, like Pringles cans, shoe boxes. I mean, I have kind of guardian angels that know I work with kids. And so I come home and find things on my porch that I need for treatment with kids. Container exercise, same thing. We're doing that kind of in a hands-on way. Always working with parents and kids for that stabilization. Because for a kid friend, I want them to have the best fit with a parent that they could possibly have. That's what's going to maintain a placement and make their lives kind of move on in a different way. Usually we're doing informed consent. You know, parents are going to the Embryo website too, looking at what is EMDR. And the same thing with kids. I mean, we're looking at just working on that, talking about that even before we get into really preparation phase. That's part of it. So in other ways, in the preparation phase, this is exactly what I do. This is my EMDR helpers, and they're just a nesting doll. And so these are 9 nesting dolls. But this sets the plan for us to do education to set phase 3 up perfectly. Okay? So one helper doll is those yucky feelings. negative cognitions. And so maybe one session, we work on negative cognitions. And what does that feel like? That icky, 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 icky. And then the next time they come in, and keep in mind we've got them nested, and most kids when they come in can say, okay, this is my yucky feelings. And so it's a reinforcement. This is our positive cognitions that we do teaching about. How do you want to feel as you move forward when you think about that? And so we come up with all kinds of positive cognitions. Next one is the truth scale. And kids absolutely love the truth scale. So we can do the truth scale on the floor, 1 to 7, where they're jumping between 1 and 7. Like maybe they're at a 3 and they're like, no, that's not very true. Or they go to a 7 and they're like, yeah, that's really true. Or they go to a 1. So we practice it, but we practice it with movement. The next thing is emotion. And so usually I use my Almi doll. It's my favorite thing in the world. And so when we look at emotions, we talk about, all these emotions are inside you. And so Andrea, what is this one?
Sadness.
Okay, so when do you feel sad? Using it. Do you have a time that you can think of that you feel sad, Andrea?
Yeah, when I miss my dog.
Okay. So is there a time that you feel happy?
When I see my dog.
Okay. So you get the context. So we spend a whole session just talking about emotions and having more of a hands-on experience with that. Because some kids come in and they have no idea kind of how they're feeling or what's going on. As we go into phase 3, that's so important. Okay. And so then we do the bothering scale. And so the bothering scale, kids absolutely love this. It's the bothering scale. Is it a little bother? Is it a medium bother? Or is it a big bother? Or bigger than this bother? And so this is just kind of a real simple way that's a hands-on way that you can do the suds. Also, kids love to use their hands. Is it a little bother, medium bother, to the roof bother? They absolutely love it. The other thing that we can do is do a sud scale on the floor. I always have cardstock in my office, so we're always creative and working and designing a bothering scale if that's needed. Body sensations. So, backstory on body sensations is, I forgot my magnifying glasses. So I have like 10 magnifying glasses. Part of them light up. And so part of what we do is we practice figuring out what's going on in your body even before we get to phase 3. Do you want to help me with this, Liz? So this is not a big magnifying glass. This is the only one that I can find. So what we're doing, Miss Liz, is we are going to do a body scan. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do it, okay? So for me, in my body, if I feel any kind of tension or anything that feels kind of weird, I'm going to say beep, 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 okay? So this feels fine. This feels fine. Beep, 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 beep. That sometimes hurts, Miss Liz. Oh, my left knee sometimes kind of hurts too. Sometimes my foot hurts. So those are the places where I feel tension. So you ready to try this? Okay, you ready? We're going for your head. Oh, your head is quiet. Oh, your mouth is quiet. Get your shoulders. Okay, everything's quiet. Your arm is quiet. Is your tummy quiet too? Yes. Oh, your underarm is quiet. Okay, so your thighs quiet. Oh, so what happens there? Whoa, okay, so now we're going to do your knees. These are fun. Okay, so now we're doing your calves. Oh, and what happens in your calves? Then we're going to do your feet. So, what happens in your calves, Miss Liz? Oh, so your thighs hurt and your calves hurt sometimes. Okay, so we're going to work on ways that you can relax those. Okay, I know that I'm really weird, but this is what I do every day. Okay, so we've got, now we're ready to go into the assessment phase. We've taught them every part of the assessment phase, so they know exactly what we're going to be doing. And we've talked about our EMDR helpers every time that they came. And so they've had we had some magical moments together, and hopefully had some shared attachment experiences. Because working with kids, that is so important. So this is one of the laminated forms that I use. I got this from HAP. I have like a couple in my office. And so on this side, we have the VOC scale, or the truth scale, right? Up here we have the bothered scale, and kind of what it looks like to be bothered. So kids absolutely love this. Some kids really tight into this, and this is the scale we use every time. So on the back is the list of negative cognitions and positive cognitions. So I've got that by my side in case I'm trying to figure out kid-friendly terms for that. So this is one of the things that I use in assessment. Okay, so in the preparation phase, we are setting up the bilateral stimulation. And I need one more helper. Do you want to help me, Liz, or Andrea, would you like to?
I can help you.
Can you come up here? Yep. So, bilateral stimulation, there are a million ways in your playroom that you already have on board for kids. And so a lot of times for bilateral stimulation, I spend a whole session trying to figure out how are we going to do this? What's going to feel really good for you? So Andrea, I have got some really cool things today. Are you okay with trying?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have some maracas. And so we have this sound, this sound. Where do you want me to do? To touch your shoulders? Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going boom. This is part of our EMDR. Okay, let me see your hands. Because we're trying to figure out where you want those to be. What do you think?
I like the hands.
You like the hands? Okay. Okay. So remember, this is what we're doing. This is part of our EMDR magic. It's going to help get those hard feelings and bad feelings out of your mind. Okay, so maracas are magical. Next thing I have is mechanics tools. Like you reach down the motor that has a magnet on it, and you can get anything out of a motor. So which one of these do you want to use? Want to try the big one or the medium one?
The medium one.
Okay, you want the medium, okay. So how far do you want it out? Do you want it really big or really small?
Really like the medium, like that.
Medium, okay. Okay, so now, once again, we're going to figure out where you want this special tool to kind of touch you. Do you want the shoulders? Do you want your ears? Do you want your elbows?
Let's try elbows.
Okay, okay. Okay, so we're going to do it really fast first. Is that too hard? Feels pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to go really fast. And then there's sometimes when we're going to So you think elbows would be the one for this?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay. Next thing is we have brush. Is that okay? Just touch your hands. Because I just want you to feel it.
Feels nice.
How does that feel different than the other?
Softer, more relaxed.
So where do you think you want the paintbrush at?
I like my hands actually.
Okay, okay. So again, we are just going really slow. Or there may be times when we're going fast. So what do you think about that?
I like it.
Cool. So in the sand tray, one of the things I learned from Anna Gomez is as children are working in the sand tray, you can use a paintbrush, anything like this, to do the bilateral stimulation on their hands, on their ankles, on their toe, wherever they choose to have it done. For Andrea, we probably won't do it on her toes. Okay, so this is my special conductor tool. What do you think? Do you want to hold it?
Sure.
Yeah, it's cool.
How do you use it?
Okay, so what we're going to do is I want you just to follow with your eyes, but how close do you want it to your face? Is that too far? Or do you want it back?
Like there.
Right there? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to move it right to left. 5, 6, and keep in mind small sets. So what do you think about that one?
I don't know if I like it as much.
Okay, okay. Next thing we're going to do, let's say Andrea's favorite animal is Mr. Bendy. This is one of my new sand tray toys. Kids love it. Mr. Bindi, I know is your favorite toy. And so what we're going to do is use Mr. Bindi kind of as a superhero. Okay, so how close do you want Mr. Bindi?
There's good.
Okay, so we're going to go right to left, okay? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So what do you think about Mr. Bindi?
I like it.
You like Mr. Bindi? Okay. Okay. So, first thing we got, these are the standard Theratappies, baby dolls. The standard Theratappies. These were the original Theratappies for bilateral stimulation. So, Miss Andrea, I'm just going to. Part of the struggle with using these with kids is we have 4 feet.
Yeah.
And so I've used them a lot, but after you're at 4 feet, boom, you're disconnected. So keep that in mind. Okay, so we're going to make these go really fast. So what it's going to feel like is just bzz, 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 okay? So you ready? What do you think?
Feels wild.
It kind of tickles, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to make it go slower, faster, what are you thinking?
Faster?
Okay. So this is the thing that you're controlling it with. It's a manual thing. Okay. How much more time do I have? 4 minutes. Okay. So we'll go through phases 4 through 6, and then I'll introduce the wireless buzzies, which are more top notch. Thank you so much. Okay. So phase 4. You know, part of we've got that set up. You know, it's pretty seamless, and for kids, it can be as simple as, oh, what's that picture or that bad image of that? And what's that yucky feeling that you get? And how do you want to feel? So you're setting it up really quickly in phase 3. And then in phase 4, you're starting that bilateral stimulation in whatever way that they've decided and you've decided that that's what we need to be doing. It goes really quick. Like sometimes they come in, we do 5 or 6 sets, and we move on. So it's magical. But part of the benefit in kids is really setting it up well. Because if they don't know what you're doing, it's not going to work. Okay, so also, usually in between sets, I ask a set every time. Whether we have that on the floor, and they're jumping between 10 and 1, using their hands, using this ball, whatever it is. So the other thing that I do, I should have done this with Andrea, I'm working with parents. The parents can use the Theratappies on the back, and that can be the form of bilateral stimulation too. Okay, for very young kids, we're going to use Joan Lovett's protocol. It's in your manual. You can pull it up. Disassociation in children, I see that pretty frequently. It's like they have a blank look on their face, they're checking out. They make it small, they may shut down, but that's okay. In my office, whatever needs to happen is okay. We keep learning about it. Okay, we're on closure and reevaluation. Okay.
Could you repeat what that was, the one you just mentioned, the protocol?
Joan Lovett's, yeah. And it's in the manual, so just go to the bibliography. She's a psychiatrist that was one of the pioneers in early childhood EMDR, and so she's pretty awesome. So the reevaluation, I'm always going to close down a session, usually with the parents, because I want them to know what's happened. You know, this is what we've worked on. You know, you may predict that there may be some struggles at school tomorrow or the next day. We've stirred things up. Yeah, we definitely have. But this is going to get better over time. And then I also give the parents specific attachment things that they can do to help that child in between sessions. And then we're always, when they come in the next session, we're assessing that previous target, the target we worked on. Tell me what happened with Joe. What kind of symptoms did he have? Did he have any struggles at school? Or school went pretty well. And then we're always working on completing the treatment plan. Okay, so wireless buzzies, these are top notch. Who wants to hold the wireless buzzies? No one does.
I can help you.
Okay, come on up, Andrew. Okay, so this is part of, so let me just turn these little puppies on. This is part of my deluxe light bar set. So what comes with a deluxe light bar is you've got the tappies, And so for a child, they can hold them in their hand. You can put them on sports bands on their hand, in their pockets. There's so many ways, in their socks, so many ways that you can use these with children. And so we're going to start the pulsars, okay? Now, do you want them to buzz big or little?
Little.
Okay. And keep in mind, any kind of bilateral stimulation I'm using, I'm keeping notes about that. I'm managing this in a different way. Okay, ready? What are you thinking?
They feel interesting.
Do you want me to stop them?
No, it's fine.
Okay. So part of what happens with this is this counts your sets. So you mostly count your sets. You know exactly where you're at, kind of at any given moment. Okay, so we're going to pause you. Okay. Thank you.
I think it's all going actually.
Still going?
Yeah.
It is. You stop it. Okay. Quick questions or
Do you ever let the kids touch them?
touch what?
Any of this?
Oh my gosh, yes.
What about the kids you like to just, slam things together and break things?
You know, in my office, we're always trying to use gentle hands. And if we can't, I'm safety proofing the players so that we can learn how to do that. Like I'm not going to put my most breakable thing out because I want that child to be successful and to learn that. I mean, one child, I can remember I had a special Christmas nesting doll set. And it got broken, and so I took a breath, and I'm like, that was my fault. I shouldn't have had that out for him. It was too much for him. Yeah. So I'm always trying to figure out how can a child be successful, because that's what they're coming to me for. How can they keep that placement? How can they find a forever home? How can they find people that they fit with, so that they can be productive in their life? Yeah. Other questions? Okay. Okay, thank you for letting me come.